Hello, my name is Leo. Welcome to another reading of the Elder Scrolls. Today we're going to be reading Mid-Year, Book 6 of 2920, the last year of the First Era, by Karlvak Townway. I went back and I just read the first two books, just so that all the bits in my head. So now I understand the different players. We've got Taluda, who is the mistress of the Duke of Mournhold, who is pregnant. I think she gave birth in the last book. And then we've got Tiavar, who is the Empress of Raman III, who is in Blackmarsh, and Zook, her little soldier friend. Then we've got the Emperor himself and the Posturat, and then we've got something going on with in Elsewhere, but I don't really know what's going on down there. And then there's Amalexia going to Somerset Isle to get Sotsa Sea, which she's done. And I feel like there's another thread that I'm missing. But whatever. Anyway, second of mid-year, 2920. Oh, look, we're in Balmora. Balmora. I always say Balmoral, but whatever. Balmoral, Morrowind. Wow. A place that I know very well. The Imperial Army is gathered to the south, said Cassio. They are a 2 weeks' march from Aulv and Lake Korati. Heavily armoured. Vivek nodded. Aulv and its sister city on the other side of the lake, Al-Malak, were strategically important fortresses. He had been expecting a move against them for some time. His captain pulled down a map of southwestern Morrowind from the wall and smoothed it out, fighting a gentle summer sea breeze wafting it from the open window. They were heavily armoured, you say? Asked the captain. Yes, sir, said Cassio. They were camped out near Bethrau Grey in the Heartland, and I saw nothing but ebony, dwarven and daedric armour, fine weaponry, and siege equipment. How about spellcasters and boats? Asked Vivek. A horde of battle mages, replied Cassio, but no boats. Who's talking? Vivek? As heavily armoured as they are, it'll take them at least 2 weeks, like you said, to get from Bethrol Grey to Lake Korati. Vivek studied the map carefully. They'd be dragging down in the bogs if they then tried to circle around to Al-Marak from the north. So they must be planning to cross the straits here and take Auld Ulivu. Then they'd proceed around the lake to the east and take Al-Marak from the south. They'll be vulnerable along the straits, said the captain, provided we strike when they are more than halfway across and can't retreat back to the Heartland. Your intelligence has once again served us well, said Vivek, smiling to Cassio. We will beat back the Imperial aggressors yet again. Third mid-era, 2920, Bethrol Grey, Cyrodiil. Will you be returning back this way after your victory? Asked Lord Bethrol. Prince Jurek barely paid the man any attention. He was focused on the army packing its camp. It was a cool morning in the forest, but there were no clouds. All the makings of a hot afternoon march, particularly in such heavy armour. If we return shortly, it will be because of defeat, said the prince. He could see down in the meadow the Pontradran Bestial Chaillet paying his lordship's steward for the use of the villagers' food, wine, and whores. Of course. An army was an expensive thing for sats. My prince, said Lord Bethrol with concern, is your army beginning a march due east? That will just lead you to the shores of Lake Kornati. You want to go southeast to get to the straits. You just make certain your merchants get their share of our gold, said the prince with a grin. Let me worry about my army's direction. Oh yeah. We know how this one ends. 16th of mid-year, rather. 2920, Lake Kornati, Morrowind. How many days later? 13. Vivek stared across the blue expanse of the lake seeing his reflection and the reflection of his army in the cool blue waters. What he did not see was the Imperial army's reflection. They must have reached the straits by now, barring any mishaps in the forest. Tall, feather-thin lake trees blocked much of his view of the straits, but an army, particularly one clan in slow-moving heavy armor, could not move invisibly, silently. "Let me see the map again," he called his captain. "Is there no other way they could approach?" "We have sentries posted in the swamps to the north in case they'd fool enough to go there and be bogged under," said the captain. "We would at least hear about it. But there is no other way across the lake except through the straits." Vivek looked down again at his reflection, which seemed to be distorting his image, mocking him. And then he looked back at the map. "Spy," said Vivek, calling Cassio over. "When you said the army had a horde of battle mages, what made you so certain that they were battle mages?" "Well, they were wearing grey robes with mystical insignias on them," explained Cassio. "I figured they were mages. Why else would such a vast number travel with the army? They couldn't have all been healers." "You fool!" roared Vivek. "They're mystics schooled in the art of alteration! They've cast a spell of water breathing on the entire army!" Vivek ran to a new vantage point, where he could see the north. Across the lake, though it was but a small shadow on the horizon, they could see gouts of flame from the assault on Aldmeric. Vivek bellowed with fury, and his captain got to work at once, directing the army to circle the lake and defend the castle. "Return to Dwennin," said Vivek, flatly to Castley before he rode off to join the battle. "Your services are no longer needed nor wanted." So I've never really had the image of Vivek being angry. But, yeah, I guess he gets angry. I mean, this is a story, but, you know. We can take it as fact. Sure. Anyway. It was already too late. When the Morrowind army neared Aldmeric, it had been taken by the Imperial army. 19th mid-year. Wait, is this like 2 days later? 3 days. 19th mid-year, 2920. The Imperial City Citadel. The potentate arrived in the Imperial City amid great fanfare. The streets lined with men and women cheering him as the symbol of the taking of Aldmeric. Truth be told, a greater number would have turned out if the prince had returned, and the versatile Shire knew it. Still, it pleased him to no end. Never before had citizens of Tamriel cheered the arrival of an Akavari into their land. The Emperor Remnant III. Let me try that again. The Emperor Remnant III greeted him with a warm embrace, and then tore into the letter. He had brought from the prince. Oh, I see. "I don't understand," he said at last, still joyous but equally confused. "You went under the lake?" Wait, what's his voice again? "Aldmeric is a very well fortified fortress." Well, fortresses usually are fortified. Well, you know what he means. Explained the potentate. "As I might add, the army of Morrowind has rediscovered, now that they are on the outside, to take it. We had to attack by surprise and with our soldiery in the sturdiest of armor. By casting the spell that allowed us to breathe underwater, we were able to travel faster than Vivek would have guessed. The weight of the armor made less. Oh yeah, true. By the aquatic surroundings. An attack from the water-bound west side of the fortress, where the defenses were at their weakest. Brilliant! The Emperor crowned. "You are a wondrous tactician, Vestigial Shire. If your fathers had been good at this, has been as good at this as you are, Tamriel would be an Akavari domain. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing to say, buddy, but okay, whatever. The potentate had not planned to take credit for Prince Judak's design, but on the Emperor's reference to his people's fiasco of an invasion of 216... On the Emperor's reference to his people's fiasco of an invasion 216 years ago, He made up his mind. He smiled modestly and soaked up the praise. 21st of mid-year, 2920. Ald Marek, Morrowind. Sovereign Chorak slithered into the wall, and watched through the arrow slit the Morrowind army retreating back to the forest land, between the swamps and the castle grounds. It seemed like the ideal opportunity to strike. Perhaps the forests could be burned, and the army within them. Perhaps with Vivek in their enemies' hands. The army would allow them possession of Ald Ulvu as well. He suggested these ideas to the prince. What you seem to be forgetting, laughed Prince Jurek, is that I gave my word that no harm to the army or to their commanders during the truce negotiations. Do you not have honor during warfare on Akaval? My prince, I was born here in Tamriel. I have never been to my people's home, replied the snake man. But even so, your ways are strange to me. You expected no quarter, and I gave you none when we fought in the Imperial Arena 5 months ago. That was a game, replied the prince, before nodding to his steward to let the Dunmer battle chief in. Jurek had never seen Vivek before. Oh, he's coming. But he had heard he was a living god. What came before him was but a man. A powerfully built man, handsome, with an intelligent face, but a man nonetheless. The prince was pleased, a man he could speak with, but not a god. Greetings, my worthy adversary, said Vivek. We seem to be at an impasse. Not necessarily, said the prince. You don't want to give us Morrowind, and I can't fault you for that, but I must have your coastline to protect the Empire from overseas aggressions. And certain key strategic border castles, such as this one, as well as Ald Umbriel, Tel Arun, Ald Labrasi, and Tel Moff River. And in return, asked Vivek. In return? Oh, wait, laughed Sovereign Chorak. You forget we are the victors here, not you. In return, said Prince Jura carefully, there will be no Imperial attacks on Morrowind unless in response to an attack by you. You will be protected from invaders by the Imperial Navy, and your land may expand by taking certain estates in Black Marsh, whichever you choose, provided they are not needed by the Empire. A reasonable offer, said Vivek after a pause. You must forgive me. I am unused to Cyrodiils who offer something in return for what they take. May I have a few days to decide? We will meet again in a week's time, said the prince, smiling. In the meantime, if your army provokes no attacks on mine, we are at peace. Vivek left the prince's chamber, feeling that Amalexia was right. The war was at an end. This prince would make an excellent emperor. The year is continued in Sun's Height. That was Mid-Year, Book 6 of 2920, The Last Year of the First Era by Kalavak Townway. Next book is Sun's Height. This has been a reading of the Elder Scrolls, but for now my name is Leo and I'll see you next time.